Day 27, Center of the Nation. So before I get to the center of the nation, I'd like to say a few words about Teddy Roosevelt, because everybody was talking about him in North Dakota and it really piqued my interest. So, as my son very aptly put it, Teddy Roosevelt was a badass. He was born into a family of New York City elite. His father founded the American Natural History Museum. He went to Harvard, and there he became a preeminent naval historian, with his books being mandatory reading in the US Naval Academy. And then he went into politics and became a New York State Assemblyman. In his early 20s, he suffered tremendous personal loss. On the same day, he lost his mother to typhoid fever and his first wife, who just gave birth to their child, to kidney disease. And heartbroken, he left New York and went out to the Badlands of North Dakota to seek comfort and solitude in nature. After returning back east, he had a very distinguished career in politics. He was New York City's police commissioner, and then he was the governor of the state of New York, and then he was assistant secretary of the Navy. He founded the volunteer cavalry regiment called the Rough Riders, comprised from the cowboys of the Dakotas. He fought as colonel in the Spanish War, and then he became a vice president under President McKinley. And when McKinley was assassinated, he stepped in and became the 26th president of the United States. He adamantly enforced and expanded antitrust regulations. He was responsible for passing the Meat Inspection Act and the Clean Food and Drug Act. He was a very dedicated conservationist, and while he was president, about 230 million acres were dedicated for national parks and national monuments. He founded the United States Forest Service. He received the Nobel Peace Prize for negotiating a peace treaty between Russia and Japan. When running for re-election, he was shot in the chest at close range, and the bullet went through his eyeglass case and the folded copy of his 50-page speech and lodged in his chest. But he realized that it wasn't anything serious, so he went on and delivered his hour-and-a-half speech, and only after that he went to seek medical attention. He was a very physically active and healthy person. His nickname was the Bull Moose. He skinny dipped in the Potomac River at all times of year. He boxed with a sparring partner a few times a week when he was governor of New York and when he was president, and he only stopped when he was punched in the face so hard that he lost eyesight in his left eye, and that fact was never disclosed to the public. His personal losses didn't stop with the tragedy that he experienced earlier in life. His youngest son, who was a pilot, was shot down and killed over Europe when he was fighting in World War I. So when you read all of this and try to imagine what it must have been like back then, he seems larger than life. And I really don't think that there are many people, especially politicians, like that anymore. And I really don't think it's for the better. We would greatly benefit from having more people like Teddy Roosevelt. One of my decisions for this trip was to stay away from the interstates, and I can't even tell you how many times it paid off. So I wanted to hit all the extreme points of the country: north, west, south, east, and center. And the center is someplace around Lebanon, Kansas. And it was just so completely out of the way that I had to give up on it. So I'm driving on Highway 85 from North Dakota into South Dakota, and I see a sign that says Center of the Nation. And I was like, wait a second. So what I didn't realize is that the one in Lebanon is the center of the contiguous 48. But if you take into account Alaska and Hawaii and everything else that there is, that center is actually in South Dakota. So I turn off the highway and I drive down the dirt road among the range fields for a couple of miles, and then you come to this place that has a little marker that says Center of the Nation, and the actual center is inside a field which is fenced off in barbed wire, and there is a flag on the field marking the actual geographical center, and there is a gate. And I'm like, there's no way that I got all the way here and I'm just giving up. So I squeeze through that barbed wire gate and I go up to the actual center and the flag and I take a few pictures. And when I'm squeezing back out, I get stuck. My favorite shirt is snagged on a barb and I wiggle this way and that way and nothing is budging. And there is the huge ass rattlesnake slithering right past me. And I'm thinking, oh God, like if you ever wanted to know what a clusterfuck is, that was it. I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere on somebody's field on barbed wire. There's a rattlesnake right next to me. But anyway, the snake went on its way, and then I just decided that there was no way around it. So I ripped my shirt and got out and got back in my car. And that was the adventure at the center of the nation. So I finished that day in a sweet little town of Belle Fourche, South Dakota, and they actually boast about being the center of the nation, and they have a beautiful marker in their visitor center, but do not be fooled. This is not the actual spot. That's for suckers who do not want to brave rattlesnakes and barbed wire.